Guys, this is Aisha, and this is a book review of Kimberla Lawson Roby's A Christmas Prayer. I read this book in January and gave it a 4-star review. I really enjoyed this book for its positive representation of therapy, as well as using spiritual counseling to help you in life's toughest parts. The main character is a young woman who's struggling due to the fact that her mother passed during the holidays and she just can't seem to get in the holiday spirit. And she admits it to herself. And she finds herself starting to spiral. And she has really good, strong friends and a really good church base that has stepped in and made her look in the mirror and see that, her method of coping is not working. I really enjoyed this book. I really enjoyed the spiraling and the expression of depression and the fact that a black girl is seen as being positive in all her other aspects of life, and yet she's still depressed in this moment. And I loved that this was seen and shown, and just, I think it was fantastic for that. But what I really loved about this story is the redemptive power of love, as well as the fact that you have to be the one willing to change, the one willing to accept that the things in your life have to be enough. Wishing and hoping for certain things are never going to happen. Her mother passed during the holiday season. She hasn't celebrated in the 5 years. She's been working to get past it, but you can't get past losing a parent. So she's been working to cope with it, and she's been having issues with that. And as such, as I said, she started to spiral. I see of characters that I've read that deserve being called a "See You Next Tuesday." Totally a Charlotte from Sex and the City moment. And this woman deserves it. She is petty. She's vindictive. She's childish. And she is the worst example of what Christianity is. And she shows up in church and she does all the church things, but she clearly does not listen to the message. She clearly has not grown in her walk. She's the worst. Everything you can think of a bad black Christian woman, she's it. She doesn't want her son to marry this woman. She's vindictive towards her. She's mean. She uses sharp words when talking to her. Just everything that makes you want to just slap the taste out of her mouth. So when I was reading this book, I kept saying I wish a chick would. Like, I really wish you would. I really wish somebody would come talk to me the way she talks to her. And the fact that the female character is able to hold her tongue and say, I have to respect her because she's my future mother-in-law. Girl, you better than me. Because she would have gotten a cuss out to end all cuss outs. Or as we Jamaicans call it, a trace out. So, and the part that really annoyed me was that her partner was not willing to see his mother for who she was. He wanted both women to be cohesive, and he was not willing to see that his mother was not being good. And there came a point where all of it came to a head, and I loved that Alexis made the decision that she made. And I think this is a fantastic book that talks about, as I said, the redemptive power of love, and your decision to be happy isn't just a decision that's out there. It's a chemical decision. It's a mental decision. It's a spiritual decision. It's everything you have to work on. And I love the fact that Kimberla was able to pull that in and show all of that. Talking about grief counseling, talking about grief groups, talking about, spiritual help, going to the church, going to as many different groups as she can. I love that. And I really, really wish, the only reason this was not a 5-star book for me was that I wish she had picked up more threads from talking about the depression. She talked about it. She showed the spiral. She talked about a couple other things. But I wish, and this is just because this is my field and this is my wheelhouse, and this is because this is my field, this is my wheelhouse. I wish she had gone more into not just the talk therapy aspect, but the chemical imbalance. So, using medication if she needs to, finding out how to work that in with talk therapy and spiritual help. Um, but at the same time, I'm kind of happy she didn't, because had she gone in and done it wrong, I would have been pissed. So I'm glad. I'm kind of glad, but I'm kind of mad. You know what I mean? Like, I wanted her to do a little more, but I'm glad she did what she did, where she did it. So this is a fantastic read. The Christmas prayer part, and that's something that the priest, Curtis Black, from the Reverend Curtis Black series, he, his wife, and a few of the other characters make an appearance in here. He is their marriage counselor, so I really enjoyed seeing him here. Although I kept side-eyeing him because I'm like, how you giving advice about marriage, sir? But perhaps he is the best person to give idea of marriage, because he's been through it all. But I really enjoyed the beginning of. There's a section in the story where he talked about the different Bibles of the different sections of the Bible that talked about having peace and understanding and writing things down for them to become successful. Um, you know, be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving. Be your requests be made known to God, and the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus. So he's like pointing out the sections of the Bible that point out where it was clearly a lesson she needed to learn. And I thought it was really wonderful because it really spoke to her. So it made her sit down and write this Christmas prayer. And her Christmas prayer was requesting peace for her heart, her soul, and peace in her relationship, peace in her relationship with her sister, peace in her relationship with her partner, peace in her relationship between her and her future mother-in-law. And peace comes in many different ways, and I really enjoyed seeing that. So this was a fantastic read. I definitely give it 4 stars. Um, as I said, because this is my wheelhouse, I wish I'd seen a little bit more, but I really prefer authors not screw that up. And I love the fact that this is a very big talk therapy positive book, as well as counseling, marriage counseling, spiritual counseling, therapy book, positive reinforcement there. I really loved seeing the fact that a Black girl spiraling into depression was talked about, and the help she needed was talked about. The fact that you need family and friends around you to help you through it was talked about. And yet, even though you can be successful in all the other aspects of your life, how this can still make you sad. I really, really loved that she did a story that shows that. I wish it had been bigger, but we'll take what we can get. And I think this was wonderfully done. So 4 stars, definitely going to be on my Christmas reread list. So there you have it. A really wonderful read. If you haven't read it, I definitely recommend her. And I definitely recommend her as an author. Just her stories always catch you in your feelings. You always find yourself saying, I wish. So that was my theme for this book. Like, I wish a chick would. So I really enjoyed it. I do highly recommend it. If you have any comments or if you read this book, leave it in the comment section down below and let's talk about it. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.